Yo, what's up? So, little update. So, I'm working on. Hold up. I don't want that reverb on. Let me just disable that bus right now. I talk. Okay. So, yeah, I'm working on this song called Forgotten. Last time I left off, I was doing a little experiment with um, 4-part harmony, and I wanted to structure the song like the tracks in 4 parts and constrain the voices within those to soprano range, tenor range, bass range, alto range. Didn't work. I'll just say that right from the get go. It was really interesting, and I learned more about, um, using instrument rack and building up a full sound, like wise, from like bass all the way up to soprano. So it was cool to like drop my piano performance in, separate it into the 4 parts, drop different instruments on those parts, and hear like what I could get, like as far as like a full-bodied sound for the chorus. But when it actually came to those voices working with each other, they couldn't play. Like if I'm writing a part for piano, I might want the piano player to be able to go flow up and down during the sections where I'm not singing or there's no guitar playing. And I want to fill that in with a little like flourish. Can't do that if it's constrained to a particular voice. And that happened on the bass guitar, the acoustic guitar, everything. Pretty much the only thing that sat really well was the soprano stuff, because usually that's just kind of what I call sparkle or brilliance. I've heard that term. Stuff I just put on the top as icing, and it doesn't usually come all the way down the piano. So, didn't work, but I'm still glad I experimented with it. I think one thing that did come out of it is just starting off my templates with a with a rack. This, see, one of these still has two. This one. So this still has 2 parts in it, and that's combining to create a more textured instrument. So I might do, like, I might grab one of these these strings. I have some like pre-recorded samples that I'm playing here for this string part. Sorry, I always do that. That's bad. So yeah, but if I was gonna not use my like pre-recorded samples that I'm triggering, like these are performance parts of strings that are pre-recorded, and when I hit a key, it plays that part in that key. But if I wanted to build my own string section, I would definitely right here in the instrument rack do bass, soprano, tenor, alto. I would just build that 4-part within here. Or if I wanted to create a really unique synthesizer, I might do mix up 4 different instruments with the 4-part harmony. So I still want to incorporate 4-part harmony into a lot of my stuff, but I think it was just a little too limiting when it came to doing the whole track in that way. Yeah, so after listening yesterday to the song, just the first impression I got from that like rough cut I put together, or the rough mix, the drums were too fast. I had too much. So when I was playing at not half the speed, much slower. When I did the original recording, I just played it whatever tempo felt good. But it ended up being like 5 minutes long, and I don't want it to be that long. So I upped the tempo. But then the little piano parts I was playing like now are like so it was getting too much energy for the song, which is supposed to be sad and like thoughtful, not like dance music. It was starting to feel a little bit like a dance beat there. So I cut the drums in half. I got a different drum beat to start off with, that had a little less cymbals and stuff, high stuff, and it was just more like a kick and snare. And then I took off some of the ethereal bells that I'd thrown on there as an example because those were taking it to like this fantasy or like electronic realm I didn't want. I wanted to get back. So I thought, okay, well, normally I play the song on piano. But really, when I sing it, I think of like a country singer. Not country like twangy, like from the South, like with a thick accent, but like a simple person, from the country. Slower, um, less articulated, like an old man, basically, old man in the country. So he wouldn't have a big grand piano. He'd probably just have a guitar. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna do slower beat. I'm gonna take the drums out at the first section, so it's just this dude and his guitar. I still kept an intro from the piano because I'm a piano player, so I gotta have my piano in every track. Hopefully one day I'll remove piano from. I'll do a track without piano because it's becoming a little too. I don't know. I shouldn't throw an instrument in there just because I love it. Like sometimes it's breaking maybe the genre. But I kept the piano. The piano introduces us, and then we go into the guitar with this man singing, and then me singing. Uh, and then I started to build up the sound from there because it was way too much from what I had done before. So I'll just give you a taste. And my voice is still like it warped from the time change and everything, and this is still a mess. But I feel like it's starting to come around. I remember some things, like the scent upon her hair and a smile that kept me unaware. And I remember her face and the way she made me feel when she said I love you. It all seemed so unreal. But I tried so hard not to forget, but my memory fades and my mind is full of death. And I hope someday to see her face again, if I could only just remember her name. Think we met in April, or am I just some fool? So yeah, it is going to turn into like a soft rock song there. But now I got that intimacy. Obviously, like I said, there's tons of balancing problems here. Doesn't feel like got voices, volume. I need to control all the volume with compression and stuff and get some reverbs going to really set everything in its depth. But let me turn off that reverb again. But yeah, this is a fun one. What I'm really happy about this song is since I started producing music with the DAW Ableton, 8 months ago, I commissioned my cousin, who is a producer, to do a song with me. And I really loved it. And so I wanted to learn how to do it myself because I've been writing all these songs on piano, just piano and vocal for years. And now I have a bunch of them, and I would like to hear what they sound like as full songs. So I've been learning mixing on my own, and all the songs that I've produced, mainly all of them, have been completely written new since I started learning mixing. And they're more hip-hop and stuff like that. But this song is an old song, very old actually, and it's just always been played on voice and piano, and it's like a ballad, kind of softer type thing. So I'm really happy that I've finally chosen one of those types of songs to do because all the others are like more upbeat, faster, or like heavy electronics, heavy sound, and this is a chance to do the softer stuff. I still end up having the full band come in midway in the song, but I break it down again on the bridge to just the guitar and vocals, and yeah, it's really nice. I like this kind. It's nice to see a different, like I said, the softer side. All the because I have a ton of songs that are kind of in this genre. Like the first few years I was writing songs, they're all like this. Then when I started producing them, I got carried away with the loud stuff. And so it's nice to see me being more true to how the song started. Yeah. Singing soft is a little difficult too. You're supposed to be intimate with the listener, and your voice is just out there. All the texture, all the mistakes, the breaths, everything. So um, I'm a little self-conscious about that. So hopefully I can get something that I don't hate. And actually, just listening to this song the way it is now, I hear a lot of warmth in the voice coming through. I just hope that like the reverb in my room you can hear right now is kind of, I have an untreated room, and I have to fight that every time I do a mix. Eventually I will treat the room, but for now I have to fight this reverb. So you actually lose a little bit of the warmth, I think, because my room reverb, I think, personally sounds a little metallic. Um, so hopefully if I get a treated room, I can bring out even more of that intimate vocals. But for now, I just have to bear with what I can do with what I got. Anyway, yeah. So things that I'm gonna do next on this song. Again, my favorite, not really, my least favorite part is cleaning up all this MIDI performance. I don't play perfectly in time. I don't need it to be robotic, but I mean, I'll sometimes be a whole step off. I'll play wrong notes. So instead of trying over and over again to get the right performance, I just break up the MIDI performance, whatever I recorded originally, I break it up into sections. So like this is verse 2. I'll just isolate this, I'll quantize it, and then I'll listen to it in solo. So that sounds good. I don't have to do anything to that part. Let me find one that is more troublesome. This bass guitar right here. This was piano converted over to bass guitar. I lied. It wasn't that section. I think I cleaned this up. Oh, this section will be bad. So yeah, that sounds terrible. So this is so I just go through. I listen to each part in each section, and I make sure I don't miss anything. I mean, if it's not too noticeable, sometimes I'll just leave some of this in. But I think I'm coming to terms with the fact that that's adding mud to, like, a muddy sound to all of my tracks. So I really need to be more on top of cleaning up every single instrument, making sure there's no notes that are out of key or out of time. And maybe I shouldn't start with just performing this on the piano and then grabbing that MIDI and just scattering out, because now I have to go through and find all the mud that I just put in everything. But my problem is, this early on in my composition learning, I don't really know. I can play the piano and get some interesting things happen by mistake or when I'm in the flow. But when I sit down to just write a part, like I'm going to write a bass guitar part, I have no idea what to do. But I know what the bass sounds like on the piano when I'm doing my left hand. So hopefully one day I'll get it to where I don't have to start this way with like a really dirty piano performance. I can just go in and write a bass line, and it'll be clean, and then I can duplicate it throughout the track where it needs to lay. and I won't have to be fighting all this mud and cleanup. But yeah, right now I'm cleaning up all my MIDI stuff. I balance as I go along, so as I'm cleaning up MIDI notes, it reveals as the mud subsides. I realize, oh, the vocal's too loud. I turned the vocal up to get on top of all the mud, and then the mud went away. Now the vocal's just blaring in my ear. You can hear that right here. Let's see. I hope one day I'll see her face again. So that's very unclear. It sounds like I'm yelling at the top of my lungs. And it sounds like I'm under a bucket or something. But if we listen to the vocals. I hope one day I'll see her face again. So it does have distortion from the warping, which will go away when I record it. But there's no clipping happening in there, and I don't sound like I'm under a bucket, that's for sure. So that's masking from... I think it's called masking. I need to get this term before I go spreading around. Yeah, sound masking. Auditory masking occurs when the perception of one sound is affected by the presence of another sound. So that's the fight with mixing, You have a ceiling here. This is 0 decibels. And in digital mixing, your sound can't go over this. So let's say you have a drum beat and it's doing this, right? Then you add a vocal. Now it's up here. The drum beat's still doing this. Now the vocal's maybe doing this wave. So you add more instruments, you get compressed up against the ceiling. You can't go above that ceiling. So now, let's say we're just here, we're just touching the ceiling with the drum and the vocal, right? If you add let's say you add a piano part to that, it's going to push the volume up here, and now everything's just compressed because you can't go any further above that ceiling. So it's like a trash compactor. You don't want that to happen. You want the vocal to be down here, then the drum beat, add the piano, add this, add that, and then just barely touching the top. That's how you're going to get the biggest sound. So right now, I'm pushed up on this chorus. I'm just compressing all that. So I need to carve out space so that all the instruments that I want can fit within that section, within that limitation of 0 dB. So yeah, if I'm saying anything that's super nonsense, if there's a mixer out there and like, hey, you're wrong on that, go ahead and correct me. I'm just, I'm not trying to teach anybody. I'm just really regurgitating what I've learned so far for myself and just putting out my understanding of it. That will change over time. It will get better. But that's, at this point, I'm being completely honest in my understanding of it. That's how I think it works. And that's how I'm putting my money where my mouth is. So that's how I'm mixing my tracks. So they are getting better. I can tell that. I listen to them in the car, on the cell phones and stuff. The mixes are getting better. It's slow, but each one is just a little more clearer, a little more balanced, a little louder. So, yep. Yeah, so looking forward to showing you the full version of this again. Like if something cool happens or something interesting where I want to document it for myself later or just share it with you about the mixing process on this song, I will make another video. Otherwise, you'll just see the track appear in the channel, the final demo. And I still call them demos because I know these songs should sound even better if someone had some money to throw at them. Like a real producer, real recording studio. But I'm pretty happy with, I think the point of the songs is coming across. So, that extra 20% of quality or whatever is, I don't need it. It would be cool, but I don't need it. So, all right, peace.